What's happening? See if you guys are hanging out yet. Should have a pretty good interview today with Mr. Dontrell Sullivan. He should be in here in a little bit. Just want to go over the Jordan Lake event we had on uh, June 29th, a couple weeks ago. So before we get into that, first I want to thank some of our sponsors. Get Outdoors, of course, always been with us. Dakota Lithium, always a big sponsor of ours. We appreciate them. Carolina Bass Company is a new sponsor this year, and they got a discount with us. If you don't know what that discount code is, let me know. I might share that publicly with some of these guys soon. Sunshine Realty is also another great sponsor. So if you're looking for a place to buy or rent or commercial or private, just give those guys a call over in the Burlington area. They're really good people. So really appreciate all their support. And of course, this event was sponsored by Carolina Waters, which is another great sponsor of ours that we've had for the last couple of years. We also have good discounts with those guys. So definitely hook them up and buy yourself some badass apparel and, make sure you look good on the water. What's up, Mr. Jeremy Way? What's going on, man? What's up? Hope all's well. What's up, Mr. Travis? Nice to see you guys here. We got, it was a pretty good event. It was the turnout was a little low. We had some people back out because of some other obligations and stuff. But all in all, it was a pretty good event. There was some big fish caught and some definitely some good action on the water for a lot of guys. Let's see. In our top 10, we had Mr. Brian Falb, Hank Fajon, Bobby Bowers, Justin Faircloth, Paul Roberts, myself, Mr. Brian Chokas, Ryan Hayes, former Rookie of the Year. Mr. Will Lambert, of course, was sitting there in second, but first place was Mr. Dontrell Sullivan. With that said, let me bring Dontrell on in here. What's happening, man?
What's going on, Eric?
There you are. Nice. Yeah, what's going on? Deal.
Nothing much.
We got so leading up to this event, what was your pre-fishing like? Let's get into that.
It was pretty slow. But it was kind of I kind of picked apart I kind of got a pattern going. It was starting to get predictable, but it was pretty slow. It was basically just finding whatever structure I could.
Yeah.
And for the most part, if I found something with like semi-decent size, there was a fish sitting on it. And I never really had luck fishing shallow in the grass and stuff like that. So I tried to find something offshore desperately during practice.
Nice. How long have you been kayak fishing?
I dabbled about in like 2017, something like that. Like I just had like a $300 Pelican that I had and was just messing around, and I go out every, a couple times a month or something like that. And then, so since 2017. And then I kind of got serious about it in 2019, 2020.
Okay. Nice. And let's let people get to know a little bit. Maybe everyone doesn't know about you, so let's go into a little of that. So what's Dontrell all about? What do you do for work?
Well, just a network engineer. I used to work or network support engineer. I used to work for Cisco. I've been working for Cisco since I moved here in 2015 or towards the end of 2014, 2015. I moved here from Greenville, North Carolina, where ECU's at. And I worked for Cisco, and I've pretty much been with them up until the end of last year. So basically, the client that I was working for with Cisco pretty much brought our whole team over to Bank of America. So basically, I've
Nice.
been a network support engineer for Bank of America for about 9 to 10 years.
Nice. So getting on the water away from technology, a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's you sit in the office. Well, past 4 years sitting at home, but still sitting in the office chair all day.
Yeah.
As soon as I log out, I'm heading out to the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really change anything because I'm going to sitting in the kayak, so sitting down again for another 4 or 5 hours. So
Yeah, it's not exactly the healthiest option, but
yeah,
I'm the same way because I do the IT stuff and I'm web development, whatever. So I'm home sitting in the office all day too. So yeah, it's nice to get out in the fresh air and get away from all this crap. So
definitely.
and you were into cars for a while too, weren't you?
Cars, yeah. That was pretty much all I did until I started getting serious about kayak fishing. So, when I got the kayak in 2017, it was kind of just sitting on the wall. And then whenever I wasn't doing anything or going to car shows or just doing whatever with my car club, I would go out to like Lake Raleigh or something like that for a few hours. That was about the extent of it. And then 2019, I kind of got into it a little bit more, but still heavy in the car stuff and doing all that stuff. And then once COVID hit, pretty much shut all that down. So the only thing I had to do was, go fishing. So I pretty much stuck with that after that.
Nice.
The car scene, for me, the car scene didn't really bounce back for me. Every now and then I'll, go out to like a Cars and Coffee that they have around here, like the Saturday or Sunday morning deals that they have.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, if I'm not fishing a tournament, but that's rare.
Yeah, that's why I keep finding that these tournaments and the schedules. I mean, we get so many events around here plus nationals. It's I find a hard time to squeeze into the extra fun stuff I used to do on the weekends like that. Car shows and whatever. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So you got into it pretty serious, and now you're sponsored by a couple guys, right? Pro staff or whatever. So who's supporting you in your fishing adventures?
It's Old Town and Carolina Waters and Biz Baits. So
Nice.
Those are pretty much my only sponsors or people that'll help me out.
Nice. Good deal. Good deal. And Carolina Waters happened to be the sponsor of this event, so that timed out just perfect.
Yeah, it was fate, pretty much.
Yeah. It's always cool having those guys around. They're really good guys, and they make some good stuff. So it's
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that was kind of fitting. I was happy to see that. That made them happy to see their guy take the W.
Yeah.
So you're pre-fishing when you go back to that a little bit. So how many days do you spend? Normally how much do you pre-fish for in a tournament? Do you do a lot, or you just last minute do a little bit, or how's that work out?
Oh no, it's as much as I can. Well, I mean, now with my new work schedule, it's letting me get out a lot more. So I'm pretty much off Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it works out perfect.
Nice.
That I can go out and practice Thursday, Friday, and then have the tournament Saturday. Went out Thursday. Went out Thursday. Out of the ramp that I fished out of Saturday, Ebenezer.
Okay.
That's kind of where I figured out my pattern, and then I went and tried a couple more ramps on Thursday. No, Friday. I went and tried one ramp, but I didn't stay out long because my graph died. So my battery, if I don't have my graph, I'm trying to figure out offshore stuff. It was pointless. So so I was out for a few hours Friday. My graph died, and that was pretty much it. So I didn't really have anything else to go off of. So I just went back to Ebenezer. I tried the road bridge or the road beds by the 64 bridge.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I tried that Friday, and I only caught one fish off of it, but it was a decent one. I think it was like a 19 or something like that. But And I was like, well, I'll see how many people are fishing this Saturday and see if I can give it a try. But Saturday came around, I saw 2 or 3 boats along that whole stretch, and I just bypassed it and went to a flat point where I caught some good fish Saturday.
Nice, nice. And if you have any certain way you like to practice? Is it all just looking for offshore stuff, or do you have a bait? Like you go through a rotation of baits when you're fishing? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I try to get on a cranking bite, fish like points and stuff like that, and I couldn't really generate anything. Um, but yeah, I pretty much treat it like a tournament day, um, and try not to sit on a spot too long. So try to cover as much water as possible and trying different things. I tried to, like I said, I tried to crank a little bit. I didn't really see much out there. I saw bait fish, but I didn't see any bass out there. I didn't get anything cranking, and but I noticed that I was getting bites on off wood in some deeper water. So I I got lucky that I kind of figured that out Thursday early on in my practice, um,
Mhm.
and then I tried to just have a backup plan. That's what I tried to do on Friday, but I didn't. Obviously, I wasn't out there that long, so I didn't have a backup plan. So that's what I ended up just going my primary and sticking it out all day, and it ended up working out for me because it took literally all day to get the bites I needed.
For sure. So,
Yeah.
when you showed up Saturday morning, were you feeling like confident that you were going to smash them, or did you think this is going to be a grind?
I thought it was going to be a grind because I only had a few spots, but then I was also worried about like would I be able to get to my spots, or with all the boat traffic and all the other small boat tournaments that were coming out of Ebenezer and Farrington. I think there were 2 boat tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was, I had my spots and I had my areas, and I was like, well, we're just gonna go see. I mean, it's Jordan, and I think that was the first time I had been on Jordan in 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think the last time I was on Jordan was the KFL.
Oh,
KFL,
really?
yes, yeah, against the Alabama Hammers. I think it was 2 years ago.
Okay.
That was the last time I saw Jordan. And I live 15 minutes away from it, but I don't fish. Like I don't fish at all.
That's crazy. Nice. So, when did you, what time did you catch your first fish or get your first bite?
I think that was about an hour in.
Okay.
Yeah, it was about 7 o'clock. Um, because before I went out to uh, my first spot, I tried the bridge. Uh, I tried throwing a buzz bait around the bridge
Yeah.
and rip wrap, and like I never get bites on the rip wrap at Jordan, but I was just like, I mean, I got to give it a try. So I did that for like the first 45 minutes, and then I headed out to my first spot. There were some crappy guys fishing around the spot where I had marked one of my pieces of wood or brush piles. Um, so they were kind of close, but I was close enough to where I didn't want to like feel like I was interfering with them, but I was far enough away, and luckily they weren't bass fishing, so I didn't feel like I was interfering too much with what they were doing. And
Right.
yeah, so I mean, I went back and lined it up with my hummingbird, my mega live, and then a couple casts. I caught at 18. Made a couple more casts on it, didn't catch anything else, so that was the only one there. And then I pretty much just ran my spots, and I didn't get bit on the second spot I tried, which is where I caught a fish in practice, but there wasn't a fish there on Saturday, so I just kept moving along, and I had a dry spell. I didn't get another bite until I think 11 something. Yeah, and then like 11 something, and then that was after I crossed back. I ran all the way to the 64 bridge and went under it, and was working a flat point and got lucky. I mean, the spots that I was casting on were small.
Right.
It was like maybe like a 2-3 foot piece of wood or something like that sitting in the water, and I had to use that mega live and line it up and make accurate casts. And usually once I felt that I was dragging through it, I was getting bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
So
caught one.
you weren't seeing the fish and dangling. You were actually just looking for the cover, pointing to it, and hitting it, right?
Yeah. I try not to spend too much time like looking for actual fish. I use my Mega Live for the most part. It's just finding structure and cover and stuff like that. So as long as I can make accurate casts and I'm finding that structure and like I feel my bait dragging through it, I'm good.
Yeah.
If the fish is there, it's there. But I mean, if it's there, it's usually tucked up in that stuff, and I wouldn't be able to see it anyway.
Right. Right.
So
That's
that's
I'm learning a lot. Like I've been like I don't have the live stuff, but I've been watching a lot of guys that do some YouTube stuff, and yeah, dang, it's not. There's a misconception out there. I think a lot of people have is that you're seeing the fish and you're just dangling that lure in front of their nose until they bite it, but it's not really the case in how most people use it.
no, it's not. I mean, it's definitely not as easy as some of the pros make it seem like it is, and
Yeah,
it's it's easy to get frustrated when you see fish and they're not biting, and then there's also the part where you don't even know if they're bass or not anyway. So
right.
you don't want to spend too much time like looking at fish and staring at fish. So I try not to use it, but well, I mean, I use it, but I try not to use it as far as like chasing fish. But
Mhm.
I've had live forward facing sonar for 2 years, I think. And this is the first time it actually like it was key in like actually winning the tournament or cashing the check. So
Right.
so just because you have it don't mean you're gonna catch it
Yeah,
the first time it really worked out for me that way.
that's what I was trying to explain to some people at the ramp, and I'm gonna do some write ups or video about it. As I'm doing the same thing, but I just don't have live scope. Um, and it's basically just I find the structure I'm looking for with down scan, side scan, whatever, mark it on my GPS, um, and then my everything's set up on my unit to help me line up to that point. And it's the same deal. I get a targeted cast, and as soon as I felt the brush, I was catching them. A lot of people saw me up on the leaderboard for a while there because I was popping through doing the same thing. As soon as I feel stuff, and then you feel the tick, and boom, there you go. So it's uh, if you don't have a live scope, you're not that disadvantaged. It's a little bit of a disadvantage, but
Yeah, I mean
but it's not
you have
total.
side scan, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
And I mean that's pretty much what I was doing before I got live scope, and it just took a few more casts to get lined up. But
yeah, yeah, exactly. It takes a little bit. I probably have a few more wasted casts than you did, but yeah, it's the same idea. And I was having the same. That was just kind of the same pattern I was on. There was a few brush piles on a road bed, and I think my son was talking to me because he was fishing the same area, and he thought but I thought it was a brush pile, but he said he thought it was a piece of a bridge piling or something that was still down there.
okay,
But that's where I got like 2 or 3 fish off that one, and it's not that big, and but you get around it and hit it, they were there.
right.
So it's interesting that I did get to try the live. My son just got the Garmin Panoptics or whatever it is. We were out on Harris on Saturday, and it was interesting seeing what I've been fishing for a while with that, and then watching my lure go down and seeing a couple little fish come swimming after it. They didn't hit it, but you could see them go after it. But I could see how that could get addicting too when you see them do that.
Yeah, when
Want
you
to
see
play
them a
with
little
them for a
bit
while.
above the water, above the bottom, and then you drop a worm down there, and you actually see them swim down, and
Yeah,
you're waiting for the bite, and then it doesn't
yeah,
happen.
exactly. And it was and I was fishing a brush pile there too. So he ended up on the back of the boat. So he ended up the boat getting spun around, whatever, for whatever reason. So I cast it to the same spot because I knew where the brush pile was from all the times I fished it. And I felt the brush, and then boom, I got a bite. So I wasn't even using the live scope when we actually caught the fish off the brush pile. So it's interesting. It is cool to see it, but yeah, I think some of that myth needs to go away with the being afraid to not have it. It's a little bit of can be a little bit of an advantage, but I think like I said, if someone's chasing live fish, you could be wasting a lot of hours too, which I saw a lot of anglers do that over the years. So
Oh yeah, yeah, you'll definitely. I mean, it's depending on how you use it, and you can't get sucked into it and waste time, and blow your whole tournament looking at live scope. So,
Yeah.
I use it every now and then. Like if I pull up somewhere, I'll drop it down and I'll scan. But I don't rely on it for tournaments.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not good to rely on it. I mean, I remember I've had numerous arguments with, not arguments, but, I was joking with Corey Dreyer and Jody Queen. I remember one event a few years ago when they were using it and they kept finding these huge schools of bass and they were messing with them, and they weren't getting them. And I had caught a limit already, and they were still messing with the ones on live scope. So, I remember telling Corey, you need to put that damn thing down and just go fishing like you always do and catch them.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is what they eventually did. They finally, I think, gave up on that a little bit. But it's not that they don't use it now; they use it for sure. But yeah, the chasing schools can get you in them. Even when you see them, like I can see, you go to Lake Murray, you can see a huge school of bass swimming around, and it drives you nuts because you can literally see them in the water, and they won't have nothing to do with anything you're doing.
Yeah, and that's I mean, that just goes back to just knowing when to leave and when to stay and stick around.
Yeah,
And we don't have any you like idled over a point that has a school of fish. If they're not active, they're not active.
Mm-hmm.
And so just because you see them don't mean you should fish for them any longer if you're not getting bit. So
Yep, exactly. So I remember late in the morning at Jordan there. It was funny because I only fished, like I had 3 spots that I could still see the ramp at Farrington where I was fishing. Um, and those 3 spots were like right there. So I was just bouncing back and forth, but I was also judging the tournament. So, and I remember, like I think I told you at the ramp afterwards, I remember looking at when you caught a couple of good ones. I think you had like a 20 and a half and a 20 and a 21 or something. Yeah, 21 and a half.
yeah, it was like midday. I had
22.
18, 22 and a 20 or 21 or something like that. So
Yeah, 22 and a 21 and a half. Yep. And yeah, I saw those 2 pop up, and I was like, uh-oh. Because there's a lot of big fish being caught, but it was like, a bunch of people caught a big fish, but you seemed to pop into a couple of them. So I had a feeling that you were going to end with a good day.
Yeah, I mean, it felt different. Honestly, like just fishing it just felt different. And it's like once I caught my third one around 11 or 12:30.
Mm-hmm.
Was it? No, it was about 11. I caught my third one. And I was just like, well, at this point, I just need 2 more. I don't have to worry about culling out anything. Like I got 2 small ones I need to cull out or anything like that. And I was like, I just need to catch 2 more. And then, where I caught that 7-pounder, the 22,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. I stuck around there for another hour and a half, and then I knew I still had 1 more spot left to go. That I marked in practice on Thursday, but it's like I may be able to pull 1 fish off of there. I caught 2 in that area Thursday, but I was like, the way it's been going, I've caught the places that I marked fish on Thursday. I either didn't get bit or there was only 1. So I was like, I need to catch 1 more, and hopefully that last spot will be able to save me. And so, I went back to the other side of the bridge, and I was just still just idling, or not idling, just like on my way to that spot. I was, riding the contour lines. I was standing 10 to 11 feet, and pretty much just anything that I saw on side scan, I would stop at, and I saw something, and I got lucky. I caught another 20. I think at like 1 or 12:30. I was like, all right, confidence meter's going back up a little bit, and I just need 1 more. And I fished that area for a little bit longer, and then I was like, I gotta go back to this point, this brush pile, and just see if I get 1 more fish. And all the boat traffic, I was sitting in my spot, and so I'm offshore, so I got jet skis and wake boats just flying by me, but I went to my point, and it was like a beach point, but people who had jet skis and stuff would like pull up there and like beach and just like hanging out on the shore. So
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of awkward because it's like I'm fishing a tournament. You got people playing in the water and stuff like 50 feet away from me.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to get my spot, and at the same time, a wake boat was like pulling out with some people on a raft behind me. They were kind of like just like idling out away from the beach, and I'm just like waiting for them to move. I'm just like, okay. I was like, I got like 20 minutes left to fish, so I'm waiting for them to move out the way, and then I found my brush pile, I lined it up, and like 3 casts on it. I caught one, and it was like another 20 or something like that, and I was like, I think I done it at that point. Which is
Nice.
funny because I kept checking the score.
Uh-huh.
And I think like I checked it right around the time that it got shut off, and it like for a second it like refreshed for a second.
Yeah.
And I saw Will had like 99 inches. I was like, there he go again. He's about to get another one. I was like, I just need to catch one more fish, and I might be able to pull it off.
Yeah. I remember when I saw Will bounce ahead of me, I was like, son of a what, really, dude?
Yeah.
I was like, give me one, damn it. Yeah. I ended up getting knocked way down because my bite I couldn't get any more bigger ones. I was throwing fish over the side, not measuring them, which I kind of needed for the monthly, which I didn't even think about at the time. But, but I couldn't upgrade. It was driving me nuts. And, I think it was Ryan. Oh, dang it, Ryan Galloway. Yeah, Ryan Galloway was was fishing next to me, and he only had a couple of fish, and he saw me throwing them out. He's like, "No, don't throw it out. I need that." But, but yeah, it was an interesting day. It was cool watching some of these guys pop up. Ryan Hayes was struggling for a bit, then he found something. He popped way up. He ended up in 3rd place. Ryan and Will weren't far from where I was. I just decided not to go there because I didn't feel like pedaling. I was being lazy. And Mr. Brian Chokus got ahead of me too. He did pretty good. I don't know where he was fishing. He had to take off, so I wasn't able to talk to him. He did pretty well too, but you pretty much cleaned up with 102.25 inches, which is the 2nd biggest 5-fish limit in CKA history. So not bad there.
No, definitely not. I don't know if I'll be able to top that one.
Yeah, it's tough. And then we just had, I think it was Will had just busted 104 inches, which was now the biggest.
Randleman.
Yeah. So, which is crazy because I would never have thought Randleman would have been the one to bust that. But
no, well,
Randleman's got some good fish in it, but they're usually not long. So
yeah, the way people talk about it, I mean, it's possible, but I just never gotten on a good bite there.
Yeah. I've seen a few big fish, but I usually catch a bunch of like 18 and 19-inch footballs. Usually don't go over 20 normally. Well, they didn't anyway. The lake's kind of changed a little bit, but it's interesting. But were you in the big bass stuff or no?
The hourly, no. I should have, but again, I wasn't confident that I was going to catch anything at the lake. So it was like Jordan is like one of my least confident, or one of the least lakes I'm most confident in the Triangle area out of Falls and Hare. So it was just like I was like, I'll just keep my $25.
Yeah, I was wondering because I didn't realize that that day when I was just going through because I figured you must be in at least the top 3, if not cash to check on that. And then I looked and you weren't there. I was like, oh crap, you must not have signed up.
So. Yeah, I mean, I would have if I was confident that I was, if it was a lake that I was confident in that I'd catch something, but never would have dreamed it would have been the day I have never been on Jordan.
Yeah, that's why I signed up because I would, I was hoping I'd at least get maybe an hour and get my money back. I wasn't expecting to do anything as far as the other stuff is concerned, but which I was just out of the money. But usually I do worse than that at Jordan for some reason. But,
yeah. I don't know if I've even caught a limit at Jordan before then. I'm not sure. I don't think I have.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been one of those lakes I've always struggled at.
I got better at it last year because me and my son fished a lot of the Tuesday night wildcats that they have.
Yeah.
and I got to see a little bit more of the lake faster, which was kind of because he has a bass boat instead of a kayak. So got to zip around a bit, and that made it a little more interesting because I haven't spent much time on Jordan other than being within a couple miles of the ramps. So, but I learned a little bit from that. Plus, he fishes a little bit different than I do, so I learned a few things from him. It's kind of funny because I taught him a lot of things, and now I picked up a few things from him, which is pretty cool.
Full circle. Yeah.
Yep.
Going back, and I'm teaching my dad some things now too. So
yeah, it's cool stuff, man. It's awesome. So your dad's a fisherman too?
Yeah. I mean, not serious. Like, he doesn't have like a bass boat or anything, but he has a John boat that he takes to the down the street to the neighborhood pond.
Nice.
But it's a decent sized lake in the neighborhood, and he just takes the John boat down there and fishes.
Good deal. Awesome. So is that where you learned how to fish originally?
No, I mean, I grew up just kind of pretty much just fishing for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Not specifically bass fishing and with like lures and stuff like that. Just worms and bobbers, and then bottom rigs for catfish.
Yep.
In college, there was we had a park that had a couple different lakes in it, and it was like stocked with catfish. So like me and my roommate would always fish there, or we would fish the Tar River off of the walkway downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much fishing for catfish. And during summer break, we would go back home to Fayetteville, and we would fish in the Cape Fear River for catfish. So it was never really specifically for bass. And I had started getting into that after I moved here. And when I got my kayak, 2016, 17, that's when I started to try and get into it and learn how to bass fish, and watching YouTube videos and Greg Blanchard and all that stuff. So yeah, watching Greg Blanchard was the main reason I even thought about trying to do tournaments. So I was just like in general bass fishing stuff, and then I came across his page, which was for kayak bass tournaments, and I didn't know it was a thing then. And then started watching his videos, and it looked fun. So that's when I started looking to see what was out this way, and found CKA.
Nice. And you've also fished a bit with CCKF and and the national stuff. You've done pretty well too, right?
Yeah, lucky a couple times.
That's how I feel with it.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much just jumped head first into it, so it wasn't like I've learned enough and I feel confident and stuff like that. And I was just like, well, just jump right into it, because I did 2 tournaments with CKA in 2019. That was my first year, and so that was in between all the car stuff. And then when that got shut down in 2020, I pretty much fished the full season with CKA, and also doing the KBF, and they were doing that the regional Mid Atlantic regional stuff.
Yep.
So I fished with KBF, and my first year fishing with them, I pulled 5th place in the Potomac.
Yeah, the Potomac, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 5th place there, and but other than that, my results weren't that good. I was either like middle of the pack or down at the bottom. So but I just kind of stuck with it. I mean, it was fun either way, so I kind of stuck with it, and I fished KBF again the next year, and everywhere else was not good results. But then I got a 3rd place at Potomac again, or placed again and got a 3rd place at Potomac, the 2021, and then that's pretty much it. And then last year I cast a check at Harris Chain with Hobie.
All right. Yeah.
And that's pretty much the gist of it as far as on the national scene. But it's cool when you start tracking your stuff and you just see yourself getting better every year. So
yeah, for sure.
So
I was hopping in heavy too in the beginning, and it was stupid. I was wasting money, but it was fun.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and you learn a lot. You hang around with these guys like Rich Biggie's in the commentary just posted one of his things. Like we were at the Potomac fishing the same area, and we were both having a good time down there. So, obviously our clubs are kind of interconnected now because we help each other judge, and you make some good friends obviously you wouldn't otherwise know anything about, but you run into them at these tournaments, and it's a lot of great people. So it's fun. It's good stuff. Even if, you're not winning money, you're having a good time. So.
Yeah. Because I got to talk to Rich a little bit at the Bassmaster Murray event earlier this year. So we ended up fishing at the same ramp and stuff like that all weekend. So
nice.
Hang out and talk for a little bit. But I mean, it's fun. The best way to learn is just you just doing different things and learning how to fish different ways. Because people ask me like, what's your home lake? And I was like, I don't really have one. Some people are like, yeah, I've been fishing Jordan for X amount of years, and now I'm starting to, I feel like I can go and fish tournaments and stuff like that. And it's like, well, I've never really took the opportunity to learn or get comfortable with any lake before I started doing tournaments. And so all my learning is just throughout tournaments. And, if I just happen to come back to, these lakes that we're doing and they keep them in rotation.
Yeah.
But, I'm traveling and learning how to fish different ways, in Florida for, fishing grass and, going to New York up north and fishing for smallmouth and fishing for river fish and the Susky and, tidal stuff with the Potomac. So
yeah,
you just, traveling, it's a lot, but it's also, it helps that learning curve when you're doing different stuff constantly.
Yeah. I've learned a lot. Like I did for like 20 years. I fished up north in Massachusetts, and definitely got into like a pattern rut, fishing the same ponds over and over.
Yeah.
So, and it's amazing now. I've been everywhere from Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky, whatever. And now I take some of that stuff wherever I go. Back of my head, oh, this worked in Florida, and this is kind of the same deal. And then I'll, be able to apply that, which has been pretty neat. Definitely opened up my versatility with lures for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is why we keep 10 rods on the kayak. So.
Yep. Yep, for sure. If you guys got any questions, hop on, post up a question. If you got experience you guys want to talk about in the chat, go ahead and bring it up. We'll chat about it. So the big bass thing, you didn't get into that. So what did you think about that otherwise? Because I know I'm trying to get people's opinion on that. That was the first time we did an hourly big bass. So I had a blast with it. So
no, yeah. I mean, it gives people, I guess, an opportunity. Like it gives you a chance to determine how you want to fish. So, I mean, some people are out like, I got to get a limit first, and they'll get a limit, small fish, and then they'll go hunt for the big fish. But, and some people are like, well, if I'm in this hourly thing, if I don't feel confident that I'm going to get a limit, I'll just throw big baits all day and hope I can get that big one.
Yeah.
But I think it was pretty cool. It's kind of like it's a mini game within the tournament, basically. Yeah. And especially with the holding of fish and trying to time it right, stuff like that.
Yeah, I did that in the morning. I was holding on to the one I won.
Yeah.
But I'm not one to do that, but I was like, screw it, I bailed sandbags anyway. I might as well do it.
Yeah, that's what I did with the tournament on Falls. So I had caught my 20.5, and I was looking. It was like 8:50. I caught it like close to the end of the hour anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, do I want to save it or not? So I just pretty much I stopped fishing so I wouldn't forget about it. Because if I get back to fishing, I'll forget about it and then upload it whenever. But I kind of just spot locked and sat, and I just watched the leaderboard, and I was like, well, I think the only one up there is like a 18.5 or something like that. So I was like, it's a pretty good chance. So I was like, I just submitted it and ended up taking that hour. Yeah. And the big bass for the day. Yeah, me and Will split that because you and CKA have different rules.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think I got the CKA one, and then he got the CCKF one, I think.
Right. Yeah, that was interesting. I remember that events will kind of get this spurred up a little bit because I tried it on that just for fun to try to mix up and give the Carolina Classic a little bit more interest and get more people winning some money. And we were trying to figure out what else we could do to spice up our event. That was one of the ones that came up. Of Corey Dreyer actually mentioned it, and we chatted about it, and I thought it went off pretty well. I mean, for last minute, I think I only gave like 3 days notice that we were doing that. So, because we just thought about it, and I was going to wait till Macintosh, and I was just like, whatever, I'll just throw it in here. If we get enough people, we get enough people. And, we had 25 people, I think, sign up for that. So, $78 an hour wasn't a bad deal.
Yeah, especially I think it was 2 people who got more than 1 hour.
Yeah, I think. Let's see. We got 2. I think Ryan Hayes got 2 hours. And I got 2 hours. Everybody else just got 1. Yeah. And then Justin ended up winning overall Big Bass for Jordan with a 23 1/4, which is the leading bass for the Duff digital marketing Big Bass thing of the year so far. So that's going to get interesting too.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be a battle. We have Macintosh coming up next weekend. That's usually where the big bass comes from. So it'll be interesting if someone can find one bigger than 23 1/4 at Macintosh.
Yeah, I mean they're
yeah. Yep.
I think Macintosh might be the best bet for it to come out of there.
Yeah.
For the Gate City Classic.
Yeah, well, the Mac isn't in the Gate City Classic, so it'd have to come out of one of the other ones. Mac and Rentleman's off the table this year for the Gate City Classic, so we're alternating those. So now it's So, but those City Lakes have them too.
Yeah.
I remember being told by the wildlife guys that there was a state record swimming around High Point. So from their shocking and testing and stuff, they actually saw a monster over there. So, and a few of them. So those little lakes tend to hold a lot of big fish. So it'd be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one to practice.
Yeah,
because I haven't. So I think I tried the year before. I forgot what lake I went to. I think I went to Brant the year before.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember what 5 lakes.
Yeah, it's about 5. Townsend, Brant, Higgins, High Point. Yeah, there's another one. Oak Hollow.
Oak Hollow. Okay, I haven't been to Oak Hollow. I think I went to Brant a few years ago. Ended up skunking. Went to Higgins, I think the year after that. Yeah, and I caught 3 or 4. And then last year I went to Townsend, I think. And I think I was the only one at Townsend. I was either the only one, or I was the only one, or there was one other person there with me.
Townsend, yeah, it's who is there? I believe dang, Rick Morris, did he fish there?
Wait a minute. Nope, not Townsend. That's on the other side. That's right. No, last year I fished Higgins. That's what it was.
Okay.
Last year I fished Higgins, and yeah, that was a fun one. I just picked a lake and just went with it.
Sometimes that's the best way to go.
Yeah. I didn't get to practice that year. And so it's kind of just spinning a roulette wheel and just throwing a dart in whatever lake, just go try it, see what happens. And
yeah, that's definitely the deal. It's I've tried pre-fishing for that and just showing up. I think I did better just showing up, doing the whole dart thing and just saying screw it, go here and figure it out.
Yeah.
But I know Oak Hollow has the fish. I mean, I think the one year I got one from there, and I wasn't fishing far from who won it, but I just could not get it figured out. I could see the fish. I was in the right area, but I just, for the life of me, couldn't make it happen. It was driving me nuts. And what's his name? Jared Stanley. He came by me. He was smashing them, and I was just like, "Come on, really?" I couldn't get a bite, but he was killing it. So it was interesting. So, what's next on your agenda? What's the next tournament you're looking forward to?
Bassmaster with Susky.
Nice, nice.
So hopefully that'll be as fun as it was last year.
Mm-hmm. Haven't been to Susky yet.
Yeah, it's a fun one. Yeah, because I did the Hobie 2 years ago. That was my first time fishing a river like that, or a river that wasn't tidal. It was like a smallmouth river. So that was pretty cool. It was like my first time experiencing it, and it was fun. Tournament didn't go so well because again, trying to navigate those waters and rocks and stuff that just shoot up and bust your drive. So on day one, that's like half the day I had a busted drive and pretty much had to walk my kayak back up to the ramp at the end of the day. Or well, I spent like the last half of the day walking back up where I floated down and just fishing. But that wasn't a fun one. When I think I like left in the middle of that day and like tried to go to Lowe's and like find something like to fix my pod that I had my pedal drive in.
Nice.
But last year was fun. Yeah, when you catching smallmouth all day on one lure, like on a chatterbait, I was catching them on a chatterbait the whole weekend. Nice. So it was fun.
Nice. Hopefully you'll have a better time without breaking your drive this time.
Yeah. No, we'll see. I don't know how the water is going to be because last year we fished it in the end of the summer, close to fall. And then 2 years ago when I fished it for Hobie, we fished it around this time, mid-January. So I don't know if we're going to have low water conditions or not, but everybody's going to be pretty much walking the banks and waiting.
All right, I got another guy here. Let's see. What's up, Mr. Paul?
Man, how you got me coming in behind Dontrell after this tournament? That's just wrong. Don't nobody want to hear what I got to say after this man put up 102 inches and smacked him. Golly.
Absolutely. I asked Paul to hop on here because I'm looking for some more feedback on that big bass stuff. So I figured you won an hour. You had a good time. So, want to get your take on that.
Yeah, I love the big bass stuff. If I'm going to fish a tournament, if there's anything to enter into, I'm going to pay the money and enter into it. And I loved it. Obviously, Jordan is a lake that I typically do well at. I don't get a lot of bites, but usually when I do, I have some decent fish. And I just happened to catch a good one at the right time. I think it was hour 7. And I caught she was a pig. She was 21 and 21.75.
Yep.
And I weighed her. She was 6 pounds. It was a good fish. She was thick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm all for the big bass stuff in the tournament. I loved it. I had a good time with it. Obviously, Jordan's a good lake to put up some really nice big fish, as we saw. Yeah. And yeah, there we go. It was nice. It was a good little fight. Good time.
Yeah, for sure. So how the hourly challenge thing distract you, or are you just fishing and whatever happened?
I used to never look at the leaderboard until I had a limit, and then I would take a look. But at this point in time, I just fish. I don't ever look at the leaderboard. I have no idea what's going on. It did not distract me. Again, first and foremost, I want to do well at the tournament and win. That's the whole reason I was fishing. Right. I was fishing over in the Farrington area. That place has big fish in it. The prior 2 weeks before that tournament, they had boat tournaments there. And that Farrington area is where folks caught like 25, 27, 28 pounds were winning and in second place in there. So they're there. Obviously, I was hoping I would get an hourly big bass, and I was just looking for 5 big bites. And I got 7 bites. I caught 5 of them. Fortunately, 4 of them weren't quite big enough because Dontrell absolutely wrecked them. wherever he was. And then Justin's over there in the river catching, the skinniest 8-pounder I've ever seen. But that was a massive fish. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's it didn't change how I fished or anything. I just knew, just being in that area, I was going to get 5 to 7 bites, and I got 7, and one of them happened to be a nice one.
Yeah, exactly. And there's Justin's 23 quarter.
It's just, that's just a golly. Look how skinny it is. That's a
Yeah.
long, pretty fish though. Good old Jordan River fish.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting deal for sure. It was oops, thing here we go. Yeah, you ended up 6th place, so you didn't do that bad. Just like me, just a little bit short of the money.
Yeah, it's when we fish Jordan in the summertime. It's 95 inches is where you got to start out at, and it just goes up from there. And you can almost figure somebody's going to catch. There's 1 or 2 people that are going to have like a 7 or 8 pounder from fishing Jordan in the summer. There's going to be 1 or 2 like giant fish, and there were a bunch of giants that day. And it was a tough day fishing too, to have those kind of bites. It was hot. There wasn't a lot of wind, at least where I was. It was up and down, but mainly it was around 5 miles per hour or less. Sunny. The sky was cloudy early in the morning up until about 8:30, and then the sun came out. And after that, it was just one of those miserable North Carolina hot ass days of fishing. And a lot of big fish ended up coming later in the day. That's just Jordan for you. Every time you go out there, Jordan and Falls, every time you go out there, you have a chance of catching a 10-pounder. There's just nothing. And people wore them out that day. And even Will, so Will kind of fished not far from where I was, and he put together a better limit than I did. Of course, that's what he does. But there's just areas on Jordan that just hold big fish, and if you're patient with it. Matter of fact, I went under the bridge from Farrington, or I started out at a rocky point going into Bush Creek, not far from Eric where y'all were. And then I came under the bridge. That bite was there Friday morning. I caught 2 fish in 5 minutes for like 36 inches or so, and I left. But they weren't there. So I went back under the bridge, and I parked on the danger buoy under the bridge. And I did not move from there the rest of the day, because I knew I could catch the 4 other fish that I needed right there. Yes. And I just sat on that spot, and I fished up and down the roadbed there on the danger buoy. And I ended up catching that one off. It was a yum dinger on a shaky head. And I threw it up on, there's little pylons right there at about 5 foot of water. And I felt it and set the hook, and it came out and jumped. And I thought it was an 8-pounder because it looked bigger. It looked big when it jumped, and I got all scared because I'd lost 3 fish before it, and got it in, and it was what it was. But for me, it was just sitting, knowing it was going to be a hot day like that. I sat there. I figured I could get the bites, and I did. I caught all my fish there besides 1, and that big one. Matter of fact, the last fish I had to catch, I had 17 minutes left, and the game warden was coming towards me as I was reeling it in, and they got there. Yeah, so I got like a few minutes. I got to get this fish submitted, and they were how's it going? They didn't check me or anything, but nice. It was a little last minute deal. It's just that's one of the places everybody that knows Jordan knows. You can go to the danger buoy under the bridge, and there's going to be fish there. I just milked the hell out of it. It ain't no secret. I had at least 4 boats come by me 2 or 3 times. They were trying to get on it, and they could have come over there. I didn't care, but it's just, that's probably the first time in my entire tournament fishing life that I've ever sat on one place that long.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I hadn't gone around. I had like 3 spots in that area that I was, and I just kept doing the little rounds, and eventually one would pop up and bite. So it just kept working out. So
yeah, you're in retread heaven. How many of them already had tears in their lips that you caught? Did you catch a bunch of retreads?
There was a few that definitely had culling pins through their lip. For sure. Definitely. It was funny because I believe Ryan had mentioned that. Ryan Galloway mentioned that he caught one that he could tell it had like 7 holes in its mouth, and probably like an hour later I caught one and it was the same thing. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the best catch I had all day was after the tournament, where the day before I was out fishing and slung a rod out of my hand, and I went back after the tournament. I had to go under the bridge and all the way across the lake, and I got my combo back. That was about $400. So I didn't even have to win any money at the tournament to feel like I accomplished something, because
you were up $400 just in that alone.
Yeah, I got my frog and jig rod back, throwing a crankbait. It's the best crankbait fish I've caught all year.
There you go. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you hopping in. I know you're in the middle of your live. We want to give that a plug. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're not live, but it's the Bass and Brews podcast. We're recording with Invasive Lures Josh tonight. It'll drop next Friday. Tomorrow we have an episode dropping with Drew from Paddler's Playbook in Texas, and that drops tomorrow. But yeah, we're recording the Bass and Brews. We record on Thursdays, and I told Alex I had to hop off for like 10 or 15 minutes because I had opportunity to come on another podcast. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah. If y'all aren't listening, go ahead and listen to Bass and Brews. It's a good time. You're not going to learn anything. You're probably going to be dumber at the end of it, but we're going to have a good time, and it's a fun little thing we do.
Awesome, man. I'll definitely check that out.
Well, hey, I appreciate it. Thank you for putting that on. I always love our TDs, because if y'all don't do it, I'm not. So I'm always appreciative for y'all doing that stuff, and then adding extra fish to judge, and putting some other wrinkles in there. That's great, and it's awesome. It opens up opportunities for us to make a little bit extra money on the side, and I enjoy it. So I hope we keep doing. I hope CKA keeps doing the big bass pot on lakes that have big bass. Don't do it on those stupid lakes like Randleman. I hate that place.
Well, the biggest bag of the whole history of CKA just came out of Randleman.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay though. I don't care. Look, we need. Let's do big bass on Harris, where we can go catch some real hogs. But man, I appreciate it. I'm glad to get to fish in CKA. It's a great time, and appreciate y'all putting the work in and putting it on.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. All right.
Hey, congrats, Dontrell.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one. Thanks.
All right, you too.
Later.
Cool. That was nice of him to hop on here. Crazy man.
Good time.
If you guys don't follow Paul, if you want to enjoy social media again, you follow him. So he's definitely entertaining. He's a great guy to have around. So all right. So the next one's you said Susky, right? That Bassmaster?
Yeah, Bassmaster.
Nice. Any other ones that you got on in your future here too? Or is that it?
No, I'm not gonna do Macintosh. I mean, I could, but I'm just gonna take some time off, and come back and do Mayo.
Nice.
I haven't fished Mayo before, so.
Mayo's interesting. A lot different for it doesn't remind me of any other North Carolina lake. I could be wrong, but people can correct me if it does. But every time I go there, I don't feel like I'm in a North Carolina normal lake. So it's a little weird.
Yeah, I've heard some stories, so I'm excited to get out there and see what it's like. And
yeah,
it's
similar grass as Macintosh that has now. That like off the shoreline a little bit grass that's not too tall.
But that's weird though. I've never caught anything out of the grass in Macintosh though.
No.
It's weird. I mean, I fish it like I normally do, like throwing a speed worm and dragging it through there, but I've never caught anything out of the grass in Macintosh, even though there's a whole lot of it. But
yeah. Occasionally when they're hanging in it, but a lot sometimes like on the edge of it, but not so much in the middle. There's like a lot of little ones up shallow in the grass there, but
yeah.
If you want to get a tournament winning fish, you're generally going to be a little deeper than that. But who knows? They'll surprise us. Apparently, they're not fishing normal at Macintosh right now anyway, so I'm curious to see how that's going to be next week. But they're catching them there. They're just, I heard they weren't schooling yet, but we'll see. Someone could be lying to me. I don't know. Never know who to trust these days.
Keep a rig just in case.
That's it. And that's, I won't say my secret one for. I always give my secrets out too early. All right, cool deal. You fishing anything this weekend?
This weekend, no.
No.
I think it's gonna rain all weekend.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain tomorrow. I think they got the CCKF has the Raleigh Rumble Saturday.
Yeah, and
And yeah, Cody over at Foothills is doing his tournament for charity, the Reels for Heroes.
Reels for Heroes.
Yeah, I believe that's what it is. I signed up for that one, but I just did it to donate. So, but if you guys, to help that cause out, if you guys want to help Cody with that, he's got a nice group of people signed up for it already. I think he was in the, I don't know if he was at the 150 yet, but he was definitely around 130. I think the last I looked yesterday. So he's definitely got a lot of people signed up for it, and it's good charity. So definitely check that out. It's like $40 or something, or you can buy some raffle tickets, or you can do whatever you want. But they got some great prizes they're giving away. So
yeah, him and John House have been doing a pretty good job of promoting that and trying to get somebody to sign up for it.
Yeah, definitely worthy to check out for sure. So all right, with that, I think I'll let you go for the evening, man. I appreciate you coming on here and hanging out and dropping some secrets for these guys to go out and try the next time they hit Jordan Lake.
Yeah, like I said, they're in there.
All right. You want to shout out? We already talked about your sponsors, but you want to shout them out again before we take off?
Oh yeah, it's Old Town, Biz Baits, and Carolina Waters.
Awesome.
Great local company.
Good deal. All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Appreciate
See
it.
you later. Get this thing. Do what I want. Here we go. Oh.